Rich Dad Poor Dad, is a personal finance book written by Robert Kiyosaki that advocates for financial literacy and entrepreneurship. The book is based on Kiyosaki's own experiences and the lessons he learned from two father figures in his life: his biological father, the poor dad, and the father of his childhood best friend, the rich dad. The author argues that traditional education fails to prepare individuals for financial success, and instead focuses on obtaining a job and living a life of mediocrity. He contrasts this with the lessons taught to him by his rich dad, who emphasized the importance of financial education, creating passive income streams through real estate investing, and thinking outside the box when it comes to money. The book challenges conventional wisdom on money and wealth, and encourages readers to reconsider their beliefs and assumptions about money. It encourages readers to seek financial independence by creating multiple streams of income and making smart investments. Chapter 1 of Rich Dad Poor Dad introduces the two father figures in the book: the author's biological father, the poor dad, and the father of his childhood best friend, the rich dad. The chapter sets the stage for the author's critique of traditional education and the importance of financial literacy. The author recounts his experiences growing up with two very different father figures, both of whom had a profound impact on his understanding of money and wealth. He contrasts his poor dad, who was highly educated but struggled with financial insecurity, with his rich dad, who was less formally educated but had a deep understanding of money and wealth. The chapter begins with the author recalling a conversation he had with his poor dad, in which he expressed his desire to have money to buy the things he wanted. His poor dad responded by telling him to get a good education, find a good job, and work hard so he could save money and one day have enough to buy what he wanted. The author contrasts this advice with the lessons taught to him by his rich dad, who emphasized the importance of financial education and entrepreneurship. The rich dad encouraged the author to think outside the box when it comes to money and taught him how to create passive income streams through real estate investing. The chapter ends with the author reflecting on the differences between the two father figures and their approaches to money and wealth, and sets the stage for the rest of the book. He argues that traditional education fails to prepare individuals for financial success, and that financial literacy and entrepreneurship are the keys to achieving financial independence. Chapter 2 of Rich Dad Poor Dad is titled, Why Teach Financial Literacy? In this chapter, the author argues that financial literacy is more important than academic education and explains why most schools fail to teach it. The author asserts that the traditional education system fails to prepare individuals for financial success, and instead focuses on obtaining a job and living a life of mediocrity. He argues that schools do not teach financial literacy because the education system is controlled by the government and corporations, who have a vested interest in keeping the population financially illiterate. The author argues that financial literacy is the foundation of financial independence, and provides a number of reasons why it is important. He explains that financial literacy enables individuals to understand how money works, how to manage their finances, and how to create wealth. He also asserts that financial literacy is essential for avoiding debt and creating passive income streams, both of which are key components of financial independence. The author concludes the chapter by stating that financial literacy is a lifelong journey, and that it is never too late to start learning about money and wealth. He emphasizes that financial literacy is not just about acquiring knowledge, but also about changing one's mindset and beliefs about money. Overall, Chapter 2 of Rich Dad Poor Dad sets the stage for the author's argument that financial literacy is essential for achieving financial independence, and provides a compelling case for why it is a critical component of a well-rounded education. Chapter 3 of Rich Dad Poor Dad is titled, Mind Your Own Business. In this chapter, the author explains the importance of creating passive income streams through entrepreneurship and investing, and why this is the key to financial independence. The author argues that the key to financial independence is to have multiple sources of income, rather than relying on a single job or salary. He explains that passive income streams, such as those generated through investing or entrepreneurship, allow individuals to earn money without actively working for it. The author asserts that the traditional advice of getting a good education, finding a good job, and saving money is not enough to achieve financial independence. He argues that relying solely on a job or salary puts individuals at the mercy of their employer, and leaves them vulnerable to layoffs, downsizing, and other financial shocks. The author explains that one of the key principles of creating wealth is to mind your own business, by starting a business or investing in real estate. He provides examples of how entrepreneurs and investors can create passive income streams that generate cash flow, even when they are not actively working. The chapter concludes with the author encouraging readers to develop an entrepreneurial mindset, and to think creatively about how they can create passive income streams. He stresses the importance of taking calculated risks, and being willing to experiment in order to find the sources of passive income that work best for them. Overall, Chapter 3 of Rich Dad Poor Dad highlights the importance of creating passive income streams and provides practical advice on how to do so through entrepreneurship and investing. It provides a roadmap for individuals looking to achieve financial independence and build wealth over the long term. Chapter 4 of Rich Dad Poor Dad is titled, The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. In this chapter, the author provides a brief history of taxes and the rise of corporations, and argues that these institutions have been used to concentrate wealth and power in the hands of a few. The author explains that the idea of taxes and corporations is relatively new in human history, and that they were originally established to serve the greater good. He asserts that over time, however, they have been co-opted by those in power and used to maintain their control over the population. The author explains that corporations have been particularly effective at concentrating wealth, because they have the ability to raise large amounts of capital, which can be used to invest in new opportunities and create new wealth. He argues that this has resulted in a situation where a small number of people and corporations control the majority of the world's wealth. The author also argues that the tax system has been used to maintain this concentration of wealth and power. He explains that taxes are often levied on the middle class and small business owners, while the wealthy and corporations are able to use their wealth and influence to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. The chapter concludes with the author encouraging readers to educate themselves about the tax system and to use their financial literacy to reduce their tax burden and increase their wealth. He asserts that by understanding how taxes and corporations work, individuals can take control of their financial future and build wealth for themselves and their families. Overall, Chapter 4 of Rich Dad Poor Dad provides a historical perspective on taxes and corporations and argues that these institutions have been used to concentrate wealth and power in the hands of a few. The chapter provides a call to action for readers to educate themselves about these issues and to use their financial literacy to build wealth and secure their financial future. Chapter 5 of Rich Dad Poor Dad is titled, Working for Money. In this chapter, the author argues that the traditional approach of working for money is not enough to achieve financial independence and that individuals need to shift their focus from working for money to having money work for them. The author asserts that most people work for money their entire lives, but never achieve financial independence because they do not understand the difference between earned income and passive income. He explains that earned income is the money one makes from working, while passive income is money that is generated from investments or other sources that require little or no active involvement. The author argues that in order to achieve financial independence, individuals need to focus on generating passive income and reducing their reliance on earned income. He explains that this can be accomplished through investing in assets such as real estate, stocks, and bonds, or through starting a business that generates passive income. The author also argues that most people are afraid of investing and starting businesses because they are not financially literate and do not understand how money works. He encourages readers to educate themselves about finance and to develop a growth mindset that is focused on creating wealth. The chapter concludes with the author asserting that the key to financial independence is to stop working for money, and to have money work for you. He emphasizes that this requires a shift in mindset and a commitment to lifelong learning and growth. Overall, Chapter 5 of Rich Dad Poor Dad argues that the traditional approach of working for money is not enough to achieve financial independence and that individuals need to shift their focus to having money work for them. The chapter provides practical advice on how to achieve this through investing in assets and starting businesses, and encourages readers to develop a growth mindset and to continue learning about finance. Chapter 6 of Rich Dad Poor Dad is titled, Mind Your Own Business. In this chapter, the author argues that starting a business is one of the best ways to achieve financial independence and to have money work for you. The author explains that starting a business allows individuals to take control of their financial future, and to create passive income streams. He argues that most people are afraid of starting a business because they do not understand how money works, and because they are not financially literate. The author provides a number of reasons why starting a business is important for financial independence, including: it allows individuals to create passive income streams that are not dependent on their active involvement. It provides opportunities for growth and innovation that are not available in a traditional job. It allows individuals to take control of their financial future and to make decisions that are in their best interests. The author also provides some practical advice for starting a business, including: start small and grow gradually. Find a mentor or coach who can guide you through the process. Invest in your education and continue learning about business and finance. The chapter concludes with the author emphasizing that starting a business is a key component of financial independence, and that individuals should not be afraid to take the risk. He asserts that by taking control of their financial future and having money work for them, individuals can achieve financial independence and live the life they want. Overall, Chapter 6 of Rich Dad Poor Dad argues that starting a business is one of the best ways to achieve financial independence and to have money work for you. The chapter provides practical advice on how to start a business, including tips on finding a mentor and investing in education, and encourages readers to take control of their financial future and to not be afraid of risk. Chapter 7 of Rich Dad Poor Dad is titled, The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. In this chapter, the author provides a history of taxes and argues that taxes are one of the biggest obstacles to financial independence. The author explains that taxes were originally designed to fund wars and other government expenses, but over time they have become a burden on the working class. He argues that taxes are one of the biggest obstacles to financial independence, because they reduce the amount of money people have to invest and to start businesses. The author also explains the power of corporations and how they can be used to reduce taxes and achieve financial independence. He argues that corporations have the ability to generate passive income, reduce taxes, and provide legal protection to their owners. The author provides some practical advice for reducing taxes, including investing in a corporation, using tax-deferred investment vehicles such as individual retirement accounts, IRAs, and 401(k)s, consulting a financial advisor or tax professional for advice on tax-efficient investing strategies. The chapter concludes with the author emphasizing the importance of understanding taxes and the power of corporations for achieving financial independence. He asserts that by reducing taxes, individuals can have more money to invest and to start businesses, and can achieve financial independence more quickly. Overall, Chapter 7 of Rich Dad Poor Dad provides a history of taxes and argues that taxes are one of the biggest obstacles to financial independence. The chapter provides practical advice on how to reduce taxes, including investing in a corporation and using tax-deferred investment vehicles, and emphasizes the importance of understanding taxes and the power of corporations for achieving financial independence.